A Donkey Kong and Missile Command Conspiracy, Part 2 of 6. My name is Roy, Mr. Awesome Shildt from the King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters. Now, quick recap from part number 1. Here is the 2008 Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition, where Tony Temple's 1.9 million point world record missile command score was achieved on the invalid fast cursor 4-inch trackball setting. Now, when the book was released to the public in January 2008 and Twin Galaxies first saw it, it was at that very time Twin Galaxies created the ridiculous player's choice for trackball speed when playing tournament arcade missile command scores that you see on the Twin Galaxies website today. So forget about whatever lies they're telling. Now, when Tony Temple had first played that 1.9 million point world record in early 2006, I suspected he played it on the invalid fast cursor, so I sent him an email asking him what cursor speed he played on. Temple refused to answer. Then I challenged Temple to a tournament missile command showdown match to see who could get the most points at 100 rounds. This was Temple's response at Fun Spot, New Hampshire in May 2006.
You won a tournament, or I mean not a tournament, but a score.
That's right.
Guinness Book of World Records.
I don't know if it's going in, but I got the score in February on tape back home, and sent it to Robert, and he verified it. So it's gone. Whether it's going to go into the Guinness,
yeah.
See.
Now this was a couple years ago.
This was 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
Yeah, February. So it'll be interesting to see if it goes in.
I'm not trying to take sides either way. Okay, I'm trying to be like a neutral party here.
I couldn't give two monkeys about the missile command or world record or what he thinks. The guy turns out, no doubt we're going to play missile command, but if he wants to make me a specific challenge, I'm not interested. What's the point? I've got nothing to prove for Roy Shildt, so I don't need to give him a game.
Tony Temple refused to give me a game because he was hoping that I wouldn't show up and confirm that he was playing on the wrong cursor setting. Now, when Robert Merzak lied to Guinness World Records to get Temple's record printed in the first place, it appears Tony Temple was in cahoots with him all along. Now, when Temple was finally exposed as playing on the fast cursor setting, I began experimenting on the fast cursor setting also. Now, myself and others sent Temple emails from my computer saying whatever to goad him into a two-cursor missile command showdown match, but he always refused. Now, at some point before I met up with Walter Day at E4All on October 5th, 2008, I asked him by telephone, why don't you put my 1985 Missile Command World Record score back up on the Twin Galaxies website? Now, in short, Walter said that with all the conflicting information surrounding my score, the only physical evidence that would prove that I could have played my score on the slow cursor setting would be a complete taped replay of the score. Walter claimed he had physical evidence of player's choice for the trackball cursor speed in 1985, referring to this page from the Twin Galaxies tournament instructions. You've seen this from part 1. That he probably hadn't even seen yet. Just like when he signed his name to the fraudulent Missile Command trackball report submitted to Guinness World Records in early 2007, which he probably never even read. Now, see Mr. Awesome, The Comic Book Life of Roy Shildt #2, which will be out in the future for all the details. Now, Walter said that the difference between slow and fast cursor missile command is barely noticeable, and that I might have played my 1985 score on the fast cursor without realizing it. Walter Day is an idiot, and he was a drug-using LSD freak, so I humored him as best as I could. Here's Walter.
I had just quit taking drugs. I had been smoking marijuana and taking LSD.
I told Walter that I played my 1985 world record on the slow cursor tournament setting. I always played Guinness Tournament Missile Command on the slow cursor setting. Then Walter asked me if I played on the fast cursor at any time. I said locally in California, I vaguely remember the exceptions that by chance I would come upon a machine that was set on the fast cursor with bonus cities every 10,000 points. I don't remember where or when, but it was always locally in California with bonus cities every 10,000 points. Generally speaking, I might play a few rounds and switch over to the slow cursor. Now, in 1982, I played dozens of Missile Command machines at exhibitions for Taco Bell. Here's the check for $250 that they paid me. And a complete write-up of the story will be in Mr. Awesome, The Comic Book Life of Roy Shildt #2. And then Walter said to me, I bet you played your 1985 world record on fast cursor because you forgot to switch it to the slow cursor. I mean, what do you even say to something like that? I mean, this is what happened when I met up with Walter Day at E4All on October 5th, 2008.
You're saying? Well, I'm going to have everybody be able to click so they'll know whether it's on or off. I like that. Even though they're arguing about it on the internet, I'm all for people knowing whether it's done or not.
So you're for it, but you don't know if it's actually going to go through then, is that what you're saying?
It's already on there.
It's not already on there, I already looked.
It's not on the thing you can see, but it's in the note database that's behind the scenes.
But nobody can access it.
I don't have the, nobody.
So on the note database behind the scenes.
No one has the ability to click on that right now in the public, because that programming was never finished by Brian King.
Oh, so you're planning to change that in the future, so people...
We're going to a new website.
Oh, and that's when you're going to change it then, huh?
Well, we're definitely going to have a note field that comes up that says, this person played it on, this person played it on off, this person we don't know. Like your 1,695,265. Who knows what you played on? You say you played on, I argue with you, but we don't know and you don't know either.
Okay.
Okay?
Well, I know what I played on. I can't prove it, but I know I played on the on.
Okay, okay, maybe you do know, but you definitely can't prove it.
Well, I don't have physical evidence.
That's right, you can't prove it. Now, I'd love to see you play. I'm here to see you play. He's here to see you play.
I said okay sarcastically because I didn't want to tick him off. I obviously didn't mean it, which is why Walter said okay again. Now, as you saw in the King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, I was fighting to get my 1985 world record back up on the Twin Galaxies website, so I agreed for Walter to put it back up in the unknown category if and only if he had physical evidence of player's choice, which he did not have. I never said that I couldn't remember what cursor setting I played on for my 1985 world record. I have replayed that 1985 world record in its entirety, and that should be enough for Twin Galaxies based on their own rules, which they continually change. Now, however, I have sufficient physical evidence to satisfy the Guinness Book of World Records, and this is me when I arrived at E4All October 5th, 2008.
It's 11 a.m. Sunday morning. Here we are at the Missile Command machine at E4All Expo. Trackball is on the wrong setting. Trackball on the wrong setting. I told him to set it. We'll see how long it takes him. It's 11 o'clock now. I got a funny feeling it's going to be a while.
They were filming me with hidden cameras, hoping that I wouldn't notice that the machine was set on fast cursor, so as to demonstrate I wouldn't have known the difference back in 1985. I mean, this is the level of pathetic desperation these scumbags have slunk to, so that Tony Temple doesn't have to play Missile Command on the slow cursor and cover their own stupidity. Now, at the elite level of Missile Command, my 1985 record is no big deal. My points at 100 round scores are what Tony Temple fears. Now, I call for an international boycott against the Ottumwa, Iowa Hall of Fame if Temple is inducted for playing on the 4-inch trackball fast cursor, and also against Twin Galaxy right now, until they put the slow cursor tournament Missile Command scores into a separate category from the fast, and Jeff Blair gets the recognition he deserves. See shockandawesome.com for more details.